pressing wheel bearings in and out. This right here is actually going on to a 2011 Hyundai Sonata. A few things you're going to need in this. You need a vise. Makes life so much easier. You're also going to need something to punch the hub out of the center. What I end up using is, this is actually, it's a race removal tool. Bought it at Harbor Freight for like 12 bucks. And you're going to need a good hammer. Basically all you do, punch the hub right out of the center. Like that. You can also pry this race off on the hub here. In this case, I'm just getting new hubs because it's so much faster and so much easier. All you do, they make a clamp, and it clamps onto it and you can pull it off. Or you have to press it off or add heat and they generally fall off. But I'm not going into that today. Okay, now that the hub is out of the bearing, now we have to remove this little C-clip right here and here that holds that bearing in on this side. What I use here is a screwdriver and a punch. Use the punch to get into the little ear. Well, that ain't gonna work on this. Cool, it moves. And then try to pry the ring out. A little easier said than done. They make a tool for this, but for your average DIY guy, whatever works. Sometimes got to use 2 screwdrivers. Prying it out and prying it out. There's that. And then I have another one. That's 2. Now all that does is it fits into a little groove right down inside the knuckle holding that bearing in. Make sure you remove that. If not, it ain't coming out of there. Nice Harbor Freight press here. It does the job. I know some people out there say, oh, you gotta get the best of the best, but whatever works. it gets the job done, who cares? One of the issues you're always going to run into is it never fits right. So you just kind of got to get it close and hope it works. Using bits and pieces of my old brake lathe, because they work really well. And one of the big issues you're always going to run into is where'd you put the bar? There it is. And that's one done, or one out. As you can see, there's a giant lip here, so this bearing can only go in one way. Now let's go do the other one. And this is your actual wheel bearing. It's supposed to spin nicely. This one is just getting replaced because the knuckles have to get replaced, so it's easier just to replace it all. Okay, so my phone died. The wheel bearings, when you press them in, you're going to put it in here, put it in the press like so. Sorry. And the bearing that I ground down fits perfectly right there. And then you're going to end up taking something on top of here. either one of the plates that your press comes with, or a giant block of steel like this. Put it on top, press it in, it'll pop a couple times most likely when it actually seats into place, and eventually it will just stop pressing, and when that happens, it's right where it belongs. Now, the fun part of trying to put the C-clip back in. What I generally do here is I take the C-clip, pair of pliers, try to get the back in first, try not to get them too stuck, and then you actually have to pry the clip back into place. Try to avoid the bearing in doing so. And then you hear that pop, it all clipped right into place. You could give it a little tap around with the screwdriver and hammer just to make sure that she's clipped in as far as she belongs. But to the actual pressing the hub back in. When you press the hub back in, on this one, you're actually pressing on the inner race here. That way you don't hit the hub, you don't hit the center here, and the bearing goes all the way in. So, also make sure to avoid that you're not hitting any of the studs. So you need something to support it so that you're not on any studs. The tool that I use often for this is another Harbor Freight tool. I'll leave a link in the description. And once everything's all lined up, send it home. And on this one also, you'll hear it stop. Or sorry, you'll feel it stop. And then when you spin it, you don't want to hear any noise. It should spin nice and freely. But as you can see right here, there's a little bit of a lip. That's exactly how it should be. They actually make a kit for these, or like a kit for the press. I've never found a need for it. Also, one thing when putting these in, when you press it all together, make sure that the hub does not separate from the knuckle, because that actually means that you have a bad hub. It does happen. Now you gotta install these back in the car.